shows up already on your channel. That's just you looking at your phone like, huh.
No, yeah, Ayek made a bunch of Giants memes actually.
Oh no, I mean like from like 5 minutes ago.
Well, I gotta get rid of that then. So,
Yeah, it's like you looking at your phone.
yeah, I wasn't sure what
You
to
look
make
really
for the
confused.
thumbnail. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to make for the thumbnail, so I was just like, oh, here it says ew, dick pic as I'm looking at it. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense for some reason. So hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So we are live. I have Tyler here with me. Say hi, Tyler.
Hello.
So Tyler is one of my Patreon peeps, and as part of the package deal, we get to go live and we get to hang out and chat about whatever. Tyler, you look absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me. Um, yeah, we're just here to chat with you guys and chat with each other and just have a good one. So hopefully everybody, can you hear everybody? Everybody is all good because that's the hope. Because I can hear you, Tyler.
Okay, I can hear
So,
you.
okay, good. So that is good. Um, kind of wanted to take this Strem into a couple different directions, I guess. And I wanted to start by saying, we're both writers. You're more of a writer than I am, I would say, because
I
you
would
write
I
more.
wouldn't say that. Just because I write more doesn't mean I'm better at it.
Well, I mean, like it's so hard. It's hard to compare like writing versus like different writers because everybody has their own voice, everybody has their own style,
Mhm.
and so it's hard for me to like be like, oh, this writer is better than this one. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
difficult, but you do have a very lovely writing voice. We read out
Uh,
a couple,
yes.
was it 3 pages of the the story that you sent to me the other day. That was really well done. So
Thank you.
yeah.
I had fun watching you read it from behind my little keyboard.
Oh.
Safe safely where if anyone said anything bad about it I could just be like, meh.
Well, we've got a very nice audience here. I don't think anybody's gonna say, well, unless if they do, then I will have to just wag my finger on them. But yeah, like let's talk a little bit about like how you got into writing and like what kind of works for you. Because honestly, me talking to you last week during our like little private chat, like I felt this whole week I was like I need to write, and I did. I like actually wrote a little for
Oh,
myself. Hey, what's up? Nice to
yay.
see you. So yeah, give me the 411. How about you? And
How I
anybody in the chat has questions, please feel free. So.
okay. I started writing in grade school, like early grade school, like fourth or fifth grade,
Mhm.
because I like discovered Microsoft Word, and I would go in when I was really young. I would go in and I would like play with the word art and just make little posters or whatever.
I remember the word
Um,
art.
yeah, I had so much fun with word art because I would write recipes because like I used to cook before it was writing, it was cooking, and
Ooh.
so yeah, some good Italian cuisine.
Yeah.
Um, and So I don't know how it started. I think I started writing little short stories, and of course they were like a paragraph long because I had no idea, I had no concept of writing as a 8-year-old or however old I
Right.
was. But um, I just kind of started writing, and throughout as I took in, I found that like as I took in more media and more read more books, watched more movies, played more games, I felt my imagination kind of growing, and I had these stories that I wanted to tell, but I didn't know how to tell them, so I just kind of started writing. And I like to include people in my writings. I include my friends, I include my family, I
Oh
include people
man.
who inspire me. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Cause you said to me that like you write every single day, and I'm finding
I
that
I
really.
try.
No, that's like what you got to do as a writer. It's like very important to get into the habit of writing every single day, and it just it can be a daunting task sometimes. Like sometimes just the words just don't want to like you get them in here, you have them up here in your head, and they just I have so much trouble sometimes just like finding a way to put them out on the paper. I don't.
Yeah, it's I get that a lot. I had writer's block for like a year,
Yeah.
like going on like a year or two where I just didn't write, and it was awful. And I was in like I was in a bad space creatively because I like had so many ideas that I wanted to put out, but I couldn't like make my fingers make words, and
Yeah.
so I would just sit there staring blankly at the screen and nothing would come out. But in that time, I formulated so many different ideas for so many different stories and for so many different things to tell people about that I now have like 18 projects going, and I'll
Love it.
take and pick and choose what do I want to work on today, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Do you find it's better to like have a whole lot of projects ready to go versus like writing one big chunk of whatever, you know? Cuz
I think it's creatively healthier because you have more outlets. You have more, okay, I don't feel like writing this specific, you know, block today. So I'm going to do something fun, or I'm going to do something that I'm in the mood for, because you know, you
mhm.
write things for every mood you're in, and you write the mood you're in. At least I do. And so
All my writing is so
and
sad. Like, it's just all like, oh, this sucks too. Like it's just ridiculous, but you know.
yeah.
So we were talking because you said you write fantasy, so I'm wondering like, you know, I have a lot of writers who watch this channel too, and I'm wondering like what you guys in the chat, what you guys write as well, because honestly, like I like my writing is like I write like fiction and I write like just like the same shit all the time, I feel like. But you write fantasy. Like
Well,
how
oh,
does that work?
fantasy isn't my forte. Just my main project is a fantasy
Right,
project.
that's right, yeah. But
Um,
how? Like
but
I can't wrap my head
fiction
around
is
that.
before. It no, it was it's just the story behind it and the inspiration behind it came from some stuff that I did when I was back in high school.
Hmm.
And it kind of stemmed from that, and I've been working on the same project for like 4 years.
But that's
uh,
awesome.
and it still hasn't developed, but I've noticed a trend. You said you feel like you write the same things, that with each project that I start or each project that I delve into, I feel like it's a little bit the same story, just
Right.
being told in different ways and different formats and different themes and different, you know,
Hmm.
different moods, but it's the same type of characters, it's the same kind of battle going on,
Yeah.
you know, the same type
Yeah.
of antagonist, protagonist,
And like
which sucks.
but it's also like I don't know if it's, you know, maybe just because I haven't written like a million books or anything like that, but like, you know, you it's like you write what you know and you write who
Yeah.
you know, but those characters can kind of like veer off and go on, you know, all sorts of different tangents, and like they don't have to all like just because it's similar to us as the writers doesn't mean like
Mhm.
you know like that the audience will understand that, you know. But
Yeah.
it's
You
interesting.
gotta you gotta find a way to put forth what you know in a way that other people can understand it, I think is a lot of the struggle.
For sure, for sure. Aya stopped by in the chat. Hi, Aya. Nice to see you. um, but we got rap lyrics. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Um, Eliak says I write rap lyrics
Oh.
occasionally. Like rap to me is like poetry. I can't do it. I don't know how poets write. Do you write poetry at all? Like, cause I fucking.
I have a oh my god, I think it's actually right here. That's so funny that you say that. I have a
Please read it.
I haven't written anything. No, don't. We're
Oh.
not. It's this really nice little journal that I got as a gift
Oh, cool.
about 5 years ago, and it's kind of a poetry journal, and if there is nothing inside of it. I've had it sitting here, and every time I'm like, I should no.
I don't even know the first like the first thing about poetry. I
Yeah,
really
I
don't.
don't even know how I would start.
I tried. Like I tried taking classes in college about like, you know, um where you really have to delve into the poems and all that stuff. Oh my god, I say poem because my third grade teacher, she was a poet, but she slammed it into our heads because she told us one time about this football player guy she was teaching who said like she said he went up to me and said, I picked a poem. And I was like, no, you chose a poem. And so, like, it's just stuck in my head now that if I say
Yeah,
poem, then I'm going to get, like, cuffed across the face. It's like, it's poem. I chose a poem to read for you all, you know? So, I guess you do have to, especially with, like, rap lyrics, too, you'd have to find, like, a melody and you find a rhythm and, you know, but
Mhm.
it's like with any form of writing, like like your writing has a rhythm to it, has a rhythm that is very steady pace to it. Plus, you want your readers, like the reader, like everybody in the chat, were like, "Oh my god, I want to read more," So
Yeah,
you leave the readers
that
wanting
was a
more.
good e- ego boost.
That's great. So, I
Little
gotta say,
captive audience.
yeah, like we've got a really great audience here on YouTube. I'm very proud of
Yeah.
the what we've accomplished here, And I just think it's really cool. Like you find like-minded people and you can have these like awesome discussions about all this stuff. Rose Red said freestyle battle now.
I see that.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
They have like musical improv, which is pretty cool. Like they have classes like at Magnet Theater and UCB Theater to take um musical improv. Like the hoedown from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like
Yeah, yeah.
they teach you how to do
God,
that, but like
I watch that show every single night.
oh my god, I love that show. It's so good.
I have the app on my phone where you can watch every episode, and I've been taking advantage of it for like the past year.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That show is incredible, honestly. Like that's like learning improv has like totally helped me like dealing with like managers and stuff like that. And like the
Yeah,
people that I talk to
yeah,
on the assignment desk, like whenever they like some guy just calls and just is like, "Oh, Rupert Murdoch should be in jail." I'm like, "Okay, what do you want me to do about that, sir?" Like what the it's just he's crazy. It's so crazy, but um
I
like
remember I took some improv classes. Well, not classes. When I was young, it was kind of during the summer. It was kind of, hey, why don't you try these summer camps? And I'd be like, no, I'm not into it. And it's like, why don't you try these summer camps so we can, push you into doing more things. And so I took when I was younger a couple of acting classes, but there was one improv camp
so fun.
that I still have memories of. They told us we were gonna be on SNL and that
Oh,
they were gonna send it in and that they were gonna air it. And so we shot this like skit about a clown being hit by an ice cream truck,
oh
and
god.
then we would all rush in and eat him.
Oh, was he? Did he turn into ice cream? Like,
He turned into candy.
oh god.
It was like a skeleton covered with like pieces of candy, and we had to
Oh,
eat him. And we never saw the footage. I have yet to see that
oh
footage.
damn.
But there are videos. There are videos on YouTube of me when I'm really young in
Oh my
some of these
god.
skits that we did.
Oh my god, that's so funny. You gotta link me. You
And
gotta
I
link the whole Discord. Join the Discord, by the way.
no way. No way. Yeah, join the Discord.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Do you draw too? Cause like
Oh God,
I
no.
me
I
neither.
cannot. I do not have an artistic finger on my body when it
Like
comes to drawing and sketching.
that's
All
crazy. Like
all my art's up here.
yeah, but like I can't quite like get I can never understand shading. And it's interesting because people like on like a couple websites that I post on, like if someone posts like an original drawing or like anything like that, they're like, "Oh my god, this art style's terrible." I'm like, "What? I thought it was really good." Like,
I know.
I'm that
Yeah.
kind of person. I can't for the life of me draw anything. So it's like amazing that, you know, folks can do
Yeah.
that. I like, how do you do it? I don't know.
Blows my mind because all
Yeah.
my friends draw. All my friends are either digital artists or they sketch on paper and they're taking art classes and they're majoring in art
That's
therapy or
amazing.
whatever. and
Art therapy.
it's really intimidating because I want to come to them and be like, "Oh, I have this great idea," and then they'll be like, "Yeah, you got a good idea. Think you got a good idea."
Yeah, I mean, like, I like the way my dad described it. He's like, there's always like there's people that can just like kind of tap into certain like planes of existence. He said,
Mhm.
people like it's kind of why like all these like really awesome like artists and stuff like did heroin, because it's like they can like it takes them to another level, and like
You telling me you want to do heroin?
no, I definitely don't want to do heroin, but like I'm just saying that like it has worked for some people, I guess. Like fucking like Clapton, like all those people were all on, Jimi Hendrix, it's all on heroin, like all that, you know what I mean? But like I'm just, it's they're able to like find, especially with music, they're able to like tap into this like whole other plane and write from there, kind of like they write
Mm.
through everything. Like I don't know, my dad's like this weird like pseudo spiritual insane Italian man. Like it's just it's this very odd this odd thing. But we're talking nude modeling would be therapeutic. Hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
I don't know. Like I was always scared like when taking art classes in college that they were gonna like bring a nude model in one day and I would just be like that athlete just giggling. Be like, ha, 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 I'm drawing the boob, drawing the nipple. That would be me. That would be me. Um, did we ever talk like what kind of like which authors do you read? Like, because I suck and I don't read.
I
I read like
don't
crap. Like, oh, it's so bad.
I don't read as much as I should. I try to read a little bit of everything. I love Jenny Lawson. She wrote a book called Furiously Happy, and
Hmm.
it talks about dealing with depression and anxiety, but it's more of a about it's more just kind of about her life as an adult, but it's hilarious. It's so funny. It's one of the funniest books I've ever read, and
Nice.
just the way she can piece things together and talk about something so serious, but talk about it in such a lighthearted way, I think is really cool. I've always been a fan of Stephen King.
Oh yeah, me too.
He's great.
Hmm.
He's I my a lot of my family members read Stephen King.
Yeah. How did that guy? How like he basically just like I don't know
Snap
how
of
he
a
does
finger, he's like, I created a universe.
it. NBD, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
which Stephen King?
Which book?
Yeah, which books are your faves?
I don't know. I started reading It a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd seen the TV miniseries at that by that point, and
Mm.
the
Clive
the
Barker.
book is so much different. I mean, the book is like this thick. It's like
Yeah, it's really long.
2,000 pages. I think you talked about that in a previous stream. You were like, I got through like three-quarters of the way, but
Yeah,
it is the longest book I've ever had to read.
I know
But
it's
it's so
really
good and
long.
it's so creepy and it's so worth reading. I
Totally.
really like that. I like The Shining. I like all of his classics. Gerald's Game was weird, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. The what was there's that book of short stories he wrote where like 1408 is in it and like
Mhm.
he wrote one that when I was reading it on the train one time and I was like, oh, this seems familiar. And he had actually, and then like I looked in the back, and he had actually like, had lifted it from an old Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which was
Mhm.
where this guy got into a car accident and was paralyzed, but was still talking, like could still think. Like people thought he was dead, and then. So Stephen King wrote his own version of that, where a guy was on a golf course. He got actually bit by a snake, and the only reason the doctors and nurses realized that he wasn't dead was that he got a boner. so so it was like, oh well, of course, like that makes sense. Um, Yvonne says that some people have a clinical compulsion to write, and
I agree.
yeah, definitely, and
Some
like
people are
even
just like, I have a story to tell and I've got to get it out there.
yeah, but because I've never like my writing process. It's like it's either like I am, you know, how do I put it? I I said something gross yesterday because I was like working out some like stand-up material that I'll probably never do. But I said that like my writing style is like just an ejaculation of thoughts to see what sticks, and that's really gross.
Mhm.
That's like too gross to say, you know. Um, but I also think it's like I can't just sit down and write, you know.
Yeah, it's it can't be any worse than Dick in the Bush.
Oh God,
Um,
throwing it. Did you ever
yeah.
do NaNoWriMo? A couple people in the chat are talking about NaNoWriMo. Like national, what
I
is
do
it?
not.
It's
I
no,
do not think I did.
oh, it's no, National November Writing Month, right? Or not something. No, National Novel Writing Month. That National November Writing, yeah, because that makes sense totally. um,
November. It's November. Got it right.
Yeah. Well, like you're supposed to write, like you're supposed to bust out a book. I actually wrote 80,000 words in a
That's
month.
so much.
I know.
Oh,
Like the goal is to write 50,000 words in a month, which is a
mm,
really tall order. That's writing 3,000 words about like a day. Which is a
yeah.
lot of words, you know? Like I wrote like 700 words the other night and I was like, whew. It was like that was a tough one, you know? But like for someone that like doesn't write that often, like it's still a lot, you know? Um
80,000.
yeah, that's a lot.
Good on you, Ike.
Yeah, way to go, girlfriend. But is it cheating if you start before November? Like kind of. But also like they just want you to get into the habit of writing every day. And that is the best kind of habit to be in. Like I didn't write at all yesterday because it was my birthday. And I saw that Holiday in the chat asked me how my birthday was, and it was okay, but thank you. um, I tried writing like before I went to bed and like I wrote a sentence and it was the worst sentence in the entire world, so I deleted it and just went to bed. Like
Do you ever like lay in bed and you're like half asleep and you're drifting off and all of a or maybe you'll wake up in the morning and you'll still be half asleep and you'll be like, "Oh shit, that's a great idea."
oh,
And then
all
you
the
don't
time.
write it down. And then
All
you
the
fall
time.
asleep and you remember it later and either it's a horrible idea or you can't remember it
Yeah.
because I do that every single night almost.
You know, I
I had a
try my damnedest to like write in oh no, they all got deleted. Oh, that's probably a good thing because I had some really like bad notes on there that I'm glad are gone. I definitely like I've written down, like I've woken up and I've been like, oh, idea, and then just like type it really fast, like on my phone, and then
yeah.
and then I look at it the next day. I'm like, what is this? What is this crap? I don't know. But
I have notes on my phone from like a year ago when I was like half asleep and I woke up and I had this like it was like I got struck by lightning. I was like idea and it was during my dry spell so I hadn't had any ideas in like a year and so I bolted out of bed and I wrote that shit down and then that's one of my
nice.
main projects now.
That's awesome. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I'm
It's
jealous, but
actually
I'm
the
so
one that
proud of
you
you.
wrote.
What was it?
Thank you. It's the one that you read from, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. I definitely want you to. How far are you with that?
Chapter 2.
That's plenty
Let me
though.
see. How many words am I at for that one? I'm at 5,000 words.
Oh wow, it's a good
So,
chunk of words. So there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. But, a fucking video game script adaptation. Can I confess something that I did when I was younger as a little baby Giants writer? I wrote I wrote an entire script. I made Legend of Zelda into a movie script. But it was like but it was really dumb. Like Link just like wandered around. Like I didn't put any like, shot direction or anything like that, but I just did like, like Link meets Rauru. He gets a medallion and Link said, "This looks like a condom." So edgy, like 8th grade Giants. Oh my god. Like that's
8th grade Giants. Oh my god, I feel like that was a trip.
okay, there is a photo of me in my 7th grade yearbook, like holding up the Legend of Zelda like player's guide. Like because I brought it into work into work. Oh my god, I brought it into school every single day because I was sketch from it. You know, I was like, this is what I thought I was going to be a cartoonist, but I never could make my own creations. It was just like, you know, it was just me copying. So but do you ever do screenwriting? Because I have not. I've done just college classes on it.
I have done a bit of screenwriting. Nobody taught me how to screenwrite. I kind of watched other people do it
Mm-hmm.
and looked at examples. When I was first trying to figure out how to screenwrite, I looked up the script for Scream and
Oh, nice.
I read it. And I looked at the way that or not Wes Craven, I think Kevin Williamson wrote that.
Mm.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Wes Craven's one of my favorite directors. Rest in peace.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
that was so sad.
Forgot. Oh.
Yeah, I get so depressed about that sometimes because
Oh,
he was a genius.
totally.
Um, but I was reading the script and I was reading how they were because I wanted to do something kind of similar, and I was reading how they were going about it, and it was completely different than I thought it would be
Hmm.
reading it because I figured it would be like, Casey does this, but then they were going about it as like, we see Casey, she looks as if she feels this way. I don't know, just the way that he wrote it and the way they went about it, it changed kind of my perception on how screenwriting is
Yeah.
as opposed to regular writing. But I
Right.
mean, I made movies when I was younger, stupid little movies when I was in like elementary school and middle school. I made
Oh,
movies with
nice.
like little paper cutout things.
Oh my god, I love
And
it.
I filmed them and they were incredibly stupid.
Yeah, but those are
But
all so
I look back on
fun.
them now and they're funny, but you know, I was having fun and it was my energy outlet, so my parents were happy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I remember I made little videos with my friends too. Like we we would all get together and like all everybody would come over to my house because I was the one with all the cameras and stuff. Like so we would just make
That's me.
yeah. So we would just make little sketches. Like we would do our own little improvs, like of just and we would make commercials for things. Oh my god! Like here's a product like
Yeah.
the Vidal Sassoon shampoo. Like
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
such dorks, but like I don't
We
know,
did that
it's fun. That's
a
what you
lot.
do.
We did characters. We created characters based off of like word flubs or like
Oh.
typos. Um, and that was their name. Someone would missay a word or a name, and then that would be the new character name that we came up with.
Oh,
And
nice.
we would film like news segments. Um,
Oh, love it.
where yeah, I was gonna say you'd love that.
Yeah.
Where we would be outside and we would be like, so today we're bird watching, and oh, someone's coming to talk. It's all stupid, but it's fun to make and fun to watch, and the bloopers are
Definitely.
great.
Oh yeah, those bloopers. Oh my god. I remember do you know the show MTV Fear by any
Yeah,
chance?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. So MTV Fear, for those who don't know, it's like it was this old school MTV show where it was like their version of like paranormal investigation, but like they made up a whole lot of things. Like there was one episode that they went to like Camp Spirit Lake in New Jersey, not a haunted area at all. Like they totally just pulled that. Like it was cool. Like they made like really interesting like stories about this thing. But so I did a parody like for my video production class in high school. Oh my god, it's a freshman in high school. I did like yes, Voodoo by Godsmack was the theme song. So good. So good. But in freshman year of high school, I did a parody of Fear, and I went to my old middle school, which was like, it's like 100 years old. So like, I went there to film it. Like I just showed up at the school one day with like my two friends, and we just like went in. We went up to like the catwalk on the on like the stage and like just filmed, and we're like
yeah.
did all that crazy stuff, and then I really want to find that video and like show you guys how dorky. Like, how fun would that be to just like see all those like all those old school like fun things that you did as a kid, you
Yeah.
know? Like, where did all that creativity go for me? I don't know. It was like leaking
Yeah,
out my pores at one point,
I
but
could feel some of that for what I'm doing now. I think it's because when you're younger, your creativity is at a high because you don't really have any creative outlets that you feel like you have to do. Everything's
right,
just kind of, oh, I'm gonna do this because it's fun, and then when I'm bored, I'm gonna, do whatever. But
right.
now I sit here and I'm like, I have to write, I have to get this done, and I just keep pulling and pulling stuff out of me to get it on paper, and then you're just drained and you don't have any creative energy left, because you
Yeah,
feel like you feel like obligated to do it.
right.
Says I'm media in training.
Yeah, hell yeah. And even as a kid, like you don't have the responsibilities that you have as an adult. Like when you're
Yeah.
bored, like as a kid, you can go and just like, do whatever. But like, now it like as a 31-year-old, if I'm bored, I feel like I should be doing something else, instead of just like vegging out in front of Rock of Love, which I've seen 500,000 times. I can't help it. I'm obsessed with that shit. It's so bad. Like, oh my god. But it's okay. Do you know like I Love New York? Like New York, the lady. Do you know her at
Mhm,
all?
mhm, mhm, yeah,
Okay.
New York, Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany Pollard. Yeah, yeah. She's like huge on Tumblr. Like everybody uses
Oh
her
yeah.
as like
Oh my God, she's everywhere. It's so funny.
it's so weird. How did that happen? Like,
I don't
'cause
know. She just says what's on her mind, and
she
people agree
really
with it.
does. Oh my god, she really, really does. That's why she got her own show. Like, But it's so funny because like I'm like, she's making a comeback. Like I was like obsessed with that show back in the day. Like I was there when it aired, like my friends and
Yeah.
I in college were just like obsessed with it. It's crazy, but I love that. I love that she's like back with a vengeance. It's so crazy, but you know, things are most fun when they're new, says Ayek.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that. I agree.
that's very true. That's very true. I hate having to write shit earlier that I'm not on as interested as in stuff in like the second act. Yeah, like that second act hump. Like just I feel so dry there, it's
Yeah.
like I like when I write, like I have the idea of like I guess not the climax, but like the stuff that I really, really, really want to write.
Mhm.
I
You think of
always
that first.
yeah, I always think of that first, and I always feel like I have to, for some reason, I have to get out the build up to it first before I can get out what I really want to write. I don't know, like I don't know how
Mhm.
to. It just feels very disorganized when I try to.
Yeah, I feel like the beginning is always the funnest because it's also the hardest to me because
Totally.
it's your opener. It's like the beginning of a movie or a play. If it does not land, or if it's off, if it's not perfect, no
Mm.
one's gonna want to keep reading, and no one's
Right?
no one's gonna wanna no one's gonna want to read the rest of what you have to say, even if you have something really good to say. And that's why I feel like I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to my writing, because I think I told you this last time we talked, but I can just look at the amalgamation of words and know that it's right, and I'll be like, yeah, yeah, that's good, because I can just, the way it's shaped, the way it looks,
Yeah.
I just, you feel it, you know what you've made, and it's good.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
takes forever for me to write an opening paragraph.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Like that's the that's the most difficult part because like you really do have to like in that first paragraph, like there was some kind of article I read that was like don't let your characters wake up in bed as your
I
first.
I did see that. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Which makes sense. Like as I was because like my first draft of my book that has never been that's never been fucking written yet. Like the first part is that she woke up in bed, and I was like, "Fuck you, I can do what I want." But now I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that is kind of like a cheap ploy in a way because it's like I'm waking up to this new character that you're all gonna meet, like it's not
Yeah.
it's not as exciting, and like. go ahead and think about, fucking Gerg. Gerg's first book was I woke up in my bed or whatever. Like Rose Red said, "How do you plot? Oh, how do you plot? I don't know." There's interesting, like I saw George R. Martin discussing like there's two kinds of writers, I think. Like I forget the other one that he said, but he fancies himself like a gardener where he plants an idea and sees it grow and then can grab from that and plant another seed and hope that like the plants do connect in some way and maybe like ivy like wraps around itself. So I thought that was an interesting discussion. But you know I keep forgetting also, like I keep forgetting that like just because like it works for one writer doesn't mean like
Yeah,
doesn't mean like I have to adhere to that. Like
I know, because I'll read. I like to sometimes I'll just do some research, do some googling, how to write, and see just see what some of the bigger people, the people on the higher ranks have to say, and then I'll take their advice to heart and I'll start doing it, and I'll be like, why isn't it working for me?
I know, I know. The only thing that I am ever going to advocate for like anybody, Sloth just said, Giants tie, I'm gonna let you finish, but Jenna is the best writer of all time. But you know what? It's good to read like bad writing too. It is good because it just shows you what not to do.
Yeah.
And Jenna's writing My Inner Life is basically like, don't fucking do this. Like tell like there was an assassination attempt on the king. That was one sentence. Like that could have that could have been shown, you know. Um, but the only thing that I will advocate for any writers is like show, don't tell.
Hmm.
Like that I think is a universal.
I always
That's a
have that in the
universal.
back of my head whenever I'm writing. I'm like, okay, how can you, you know, put that idea into people's heads without blatantly just being like, this is a thing,
Yeah, exactly,
You
exactly.
gotta be subtle, you gotta be sneaky, you gotta make people think what you want them to think without making them think what you want them to think.
It's super complicated, but it's super fun. Like I do really, and in the essence of everything, like I do really enjoy writing. I just wish that like I don't know. I like we all get writer's block and we all, find it difficult to, you know, get over that hump, but it's mostly mental.
Hmm.
That's kind of the long and short of it. Holiday asks, "What's easier to write, a book or a script?" Um,
Ooh, I
ugh.
mean that depends on a lot of things. It depends on, what kind of idea you're going for. It depends on what experience you have. It depends on it's just what you're most comfortable with. Um, I personally feel more comfortable book writing because I feel like
Mhm,
there's more of a narrative and I can be a little bit more descriptive and I can be, you can go into people's minds and tell what they're thinking and I feel like you can explore more and you can take more routes. As to screenwriting, I feel like it's a little bit more kind of just black and white.
yeah. When I think of script, I think of like news script, So,
Yeah.
um, it's interesting because my EP at Fox and Friends, we're having a talk one day, just her and I, and she goes, if I had never met you and you told me that you wrote the news, I wouldn't believe you. I was like, what? She's like, yeah.
Thanks.
I was like, thanks. And she's like, no, but you're more of that creative outlet. Like she could tell. Like that's why like I could never ever shit talk the show, because she got me. She could tell that like I felt constricted by the news. So like
Hmm.
for me personally, a book is much more difficult to write than a script. Like a news script is something that you just have to like you bust out, and like you have like a very certain like it's a certain kind of like theme and like heartbeat to it, and just making sure you're getting the information out. Like writing a book is like yeah, you've got a lot of information to tell, but you got to do it in an entertaining way that is going to captivate, really,
Yeah.
really captivate. Because 20-second script versus like a 500-page novel is like,
Hmm.
like a world of difference.
Yeah. And that's why I say, it depends because I feel like books they take more work, but they're easier.
Mm,
Scripts take less work to put it down, but they're harder to I don't know. I just enjoy book writing more. That's just my
yeah.
personal muse and me trying to find reasons why because I never think about it.
Right. But also if you yeah, like Rose Red said, screenwriting is like writing what the camera sees. So like you can write like a really good screenplay, but it's gonna go through like 5 different incantations because you have to give it to the DP who like, says like, oh, this won't work like camera wise, and then you like, the editor also takes a look at it, and like you're having like tons of people just like dipping their hands in it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like with a book, it's much more honest. Like, yeah, you have an editor, you have a copy editor, but you
I feel like
know,
you have more of a say.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I that's what I hope. When it comes time to publish, I guess. But
Yeah.
like knock on wood, that happens one time. Do you
Someday.
someday exactly get my shit together long enough to sit down and actually write? Oh my god. Um, but do you ever make like character outlines? Like
Oh
do you
yeah.
ever? Okay,
Oh
cool.
yeah. I have them on here actually because it's my new laptop, but I
Oh,
transferred my
nice.
writing over first. For most of my projects, I'll go through and I have enough characters in mind that I can set out kind of a character outline and a plot outline and a settings outline, and I kind of take what I learned from, second grade writing where they're like, exposition is the bottom of the hill and the climax is the top of the hill. And I take that and I'm like, okay, so, this is going to happen in this order. These are the characters. This is what they look like. This is what they feel. This is their attitude.
Mhm.
And, I try to get more of it down, but it usually ends up coming out as only about a paragraph.
Right. Well, no, that's actually like uh that's actually totally fine to do because as long as you can give like you have to give your characters like some meat.
Personality.
Yeah, totally. Like it's one thing to be like, oh, my character is like, super thin or like super chubby or like has brown hair, but like you have to like that's why like all these books like, 50 Shades of Grey, like they do give personality to the characters, but the character like they're so shallow at the same time. There's no
Hmm.
depth to any of these characters. Um Holiday's talking about a novel idea with a horror story. Don't tell too many people your idea. you
Yeah.
know?
I'm always super careful. 6 to 8 victims. That should
Mm.
be fun.
Yeah, that
Horror, horror,
sounds like a
horror
good.
is really fun to write. I've written a little bit of that, but
Yeah.
it's one where you have to be super crafty and clever because almost everything's been done at this point.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to explore. You got to think of it. That's another reason that I read the Scream script was because, I think that's a smart movie.
Which one
And
is it?
Scream.
Oh, Scream. Oh, yeah. Oh, you said
Oh,
Scream script. I got confused. I was like, Scream script. I've never heard of that.
no, the script for Scream.
yes.
Um, I read it and I just think it's a really smart movie and that's what gave me a new perspective was the style in which it was written. I just really enjoyed, and so
Mhm.
that's why I think that if you're wanting to try a new genre and a new something that might be unfamiliar is to find something that really sticks out to you and to read it.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of went off on a tangent there that has nothing to do with her writing horror,
No.
him or her writing horror, but
No, not at all.
um,
Because horror, like I've written a couple short stories, short horror stories. Um, they're fun to write. They're really fun to write. Like
yeah,
it was
they're
more psychological, like kind of paranormally horror, kind of. But
yeah,
I need to. They're very rough,
yeah.
but those are the most fun. Like I've been actually writing one about a girl who live streams. It's kind of horror esque. Where did I
Are you
get that idea
yeah,
from?
yeah, or you pulling maybe from some sort of personal experience, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I mean, not like what if you ever read it, which that's just me saying if I ever fucking put it out there to the world, like
Yeah.
then I think it would make sense. But like, it's not anything that would happen to me, But you know, uh, but it was Yvonne says of all aspects of writing, you shouldn't blow a load at the beginning. You shouldn't put a school shooting in chapter 7 of your
That,
book.
oh my God. Yeah, that was, ugh.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like,
Wait to kill Davis until chapter 13.
right. I don't know, but like I read a lot of Agatha Christie back in the day, which she was one of the greatest you know horror
Mhm.
writers. Like, well, I mean, would you classify her as horror? Maybe not horror. Maybe just like
I would just say,
mystery.
yeah, kind of suspense.
Yeah, very much so. But I did. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed. I like. Hercule Poirot. He's like my favorite. um, but and then there were none is like one of my favorite books actually. Have you ever read that?
There none.
And then there were none.
Oh, and then there were none. Yeah, I know the book, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to recall if I've ever read it all the way through.
Mm. It's a good one.
Yeah,
It's definitely a good one. But like I like what would Stephen King be like horror novel? Like, I don't really know genre that well. I just kind of am like, oh, yeah, that's good.
yeah. I think it really depends on each book. I wouldn't strictly classify him as a horror writer. I would
Mhm.
just say he's I can't even think of a word to classify him because he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just I try not to classify writers as genre writers, but as each book is an individual, genre and experience
Right.
type of thing.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it.
Because
But
I have like a set of books sitting underneath my laptop right here. I have The Godfather, Looking for Alaska, House of Leaves, and Furiously Happy.
oh, House of Leaves. I've always wanted to get my hands on that one.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's one of those that like it's very wordy and it's very long and it's very cerebral, but it's pieced together beautifully, and I
Oh,
think you'd really
nice.
enjoy it.
Nice. I would have
Maybe if
to.
once I'm done with it, I can ship it to you because
Oh my
it's
god, I would love that.
it's like a $30 book because it's so damn big.
Oh shit. I'll find it like maybe like in my knowledge of it is like there's pages where like the typeface is all weird, right? Is that or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay.
I remember I tried. I really wouldn't recommend downloading like a PDF for it
Mm.
because it's one of those where it's if you want kind of the full effect, you really need to have the book in hand because without spoiling anything, it's a story being told within a story about a story. It's
Oh.
it's someone
It's one of
writing
those.
about something they found, and then that person is writing about something that they found. So it's an account of an
Oh.
account of an account.
Oh, that's
But
so
but
cool.
but there are footnotes that go on for like 5 pages. So it's like footnote, and then the whole page is a footnote, and then the whole page is a footnote, and it's insane. But then as you get further into the book and things get more crazy, it'll be upside down, or you'll have to hold it in a mirror to read it, or like it'll go in a spiral, or it'll be like each page only has a word on it, or a page will be black, or
Ah,
it's
so
it's
crazy.
yeah. It's really really well put together, and it's one of my favorite books that I've ever read, and I still have not finished it completely because it is so good
Oh
and so
wow.
creepy. It gives
Wow.
me claustrophobia.
That sounds about right. I was actually
Yeah,
thinking of restarting it too,
yeah,
because like I could pick up from where I left off, but it's also like no, I want to get
yeah.
that whole feeling back because I remember reading it like years ago and like I was on my couch just like and then like somebody texted me and I was like ah! I screamed, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
You know?
it's great, and
Yeah.
and there's so much that they left out because I when I first watched the miniseries as when I was younger, I was like, this is like a friggin' movie. How can they leave anything out of the book? And then I saw the book and it was like this big.
Yeah, I was like,
And
oh, there.
I think I got it on Kindle, and then it was like page one of 2,400, and I was like, Jesus.
What have I gotten myself into?
Yeah. Now I gotta read for the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
But I am still reading Gone Girl, which is great.
I've heard
Fantastic.
amazing things about that. I wanted to
Yeah.
read Girl on the Train, but I heard kind of mixed reviews from that because some people were saying that basically all of the characters in it are assholes, but that the story is really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been browsing. There's some books coming out that I'm interested in,
Hmm.
and I'm reading all my. I'm surrounded by all my books that are just kind of looking at me like, please read me.
Oh,
You
yeah.
haven't touched me in so long.
I know. Like, I wish I was more of an avid reader because, like, it's such a task to write. This is why like I feel bad like ripping on Trisha or even Greg. Well, not as much Greg, mostly Trisha, because like at least they like finished a book. You know what I mean? Like I put book in
Yeah,
quotes, but at least they finished something. I start things and never finish them. Like that's what annoys the shit out of me. But what can you
it is
do?
better to have written and published than never to have written at all.
That's true. But Holiday was talking about like, character descriptions. And I think it can be kind of fun. Like when I write, when I start my writing, I don't blatantly like say like she had brown,
Yeah,
I like dropping hints like as we're learning about these characters.
took the words right out of my mouth. I like to do it. I like to do it gradually. Chapter one, she has caramel eyes and pale complexion, and then
Mhm.
a couple chapters later, oh, her blonde hair was blowing in the breeze,
Mhm.
and her stocky figure. You got to kind of sprinkle your descriptions around, or else it's going to look like some sort of like role play where you're like, this is who I'm.
Yeah.
This this is the character. She is 5'11". She has olive skin.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely. Because Yvonne said it's more important for a character to be motivated than relatable or likable. That's a good
yeah,
point too, definitely.
it
Because
is.
if you're writing your characters and they totally believe in everything, they have like very certain rules. Like there's an improv technique. It's like philosophy, like motivation, like because you have to come into each new scene as a new character.
Yeah,
Like you create this character based on whatever you are doing in the scene. So like your character has to have like very strong beliefs, and as long as your character believes them and like
mm,
sticks to them, it'll make the audience laugh. Like I know that improv is basically about making people laugh, but when you write and your characters have these very staunch beliefs, like it makes them feel.
yeah. Ike brings up a good point. She says some of my favorite characters have been characters that I've hated.
It's fun because you can just it's just like your assholeism just on screen in print, basically. But Sloth said Insomnia, a part of the Dark Tower series. Like, I think I have the Dark Tower series.
They're
I
making a
think.
movie.
Are they?
Yeah,
Wait.
they're making a Dark Tower movie. I
Oh.
follow his Facebook page. He came to my state and I missed it. He did a
Oh
seminar
no.
at this really awesome venue up a couple cities away where people would just sit in chairs and ask him questions on the stage, and I missed it.
Oh
Do you know
damn.
how big of a deal that is? Like, you get to talk like in a crowd of like maybe 200 people, ask Stephen King questions about writing. Like,
Oh
that
man.
is such a good opportunity, and he did it in a couple other states, and I considered going there, but
Oh man.
it
That sounds
wasn't.
awesome.
I really wish I could have gone. That was an opportunity lost. So if Stephen King ever sees this video, he knows where to find me.
Yeah. That's true. What does Yvonne say? Another good thing to consider with characters is giving them distinct voices. Yes, you can. Yes, absolutely. Like the thing with Greg's characters, with Trisha's characters, with Anna and Christian Grey, there's no distinction between their voices. Like it's crazy reading Grey, which is the
Yeah,
flip side to 50 Shades of Grey. They're the same. It's you can tell they're the exact same character,
it's the same
just
book.
It's the same fucking book. It's unbelievable. That's why I like Gone Girl so much, because she's giving, you hear distinct voices between Amy and Nick Dunn, because they
Mhm.
flip back and forth. Like, I saw the movie first, so, like, I know what happens, basically, but, like, it doesn't even matter because the book is so fucking good that I'm just like, what's gonna happen next? I don't even know, but,
Yeah.
like, but, yeah, Gillian Flynn gave both characters very, very distinct, like, it's not even about like male female at this point, it's
Mhm.
just about like you are definitely reading two distinctly different characters, except they're similar because they're both insanely narcissistic and egotistical.
And I think it's important to have distinct voices even if you're not narrating as said character. You need
Hmm.
your background characters, your supporting characters are sometimes more important than the main character themselves because they tell the story.
Yeah,
But they kind of act in the scene of the movie that is your story.
yeah.
And a lot of times I'll find myself, questioning my character's motives and having to like loop everything together and be like, this is why they feel this way, this is why they feel that way. They have to be cohesive or it's not going to work.
Exactly. So this a question for you, and I guess question for the chat too. What do you prefer writing in? Do you like writing in first person or like third person? Like, what's your
I almost always write in first person.
first person?
Just I don't know why. I just it feels more comfortable when I write in. I've tried really hard to write in third person,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, when I do it, it seems like it comes off as lazy somehow. I don't know. That might sound weird, but
Hmm.
when I do it, it seems to come off as lazy, and it seems like I'm not able to put as much detail into it as first person because when I write in first person, I close my eyes and I picture myself where I am and everything that I'm seeing, and that's how I put everything down.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Because for me, like I've been trying to write more in third person. Like the story that I'm working on now is in third person, and I'm trying to give like it's turning into like a just a short like smut story basically is what I told my mom. That she was like, oh, I don't know what that means. Like I was like, well, I'm not gonna tell you, but like I don't know, it's cathartic for me to write that, you know what I mean? So like um I've been trying to write something like, whenever I would normally write in third person, I would only give like one side of things. But I kept forgetting that when you write in third person, you're grabbing like all sorts of different like
Yeah.
viewpoints,
Exactly.
you
See, and
know?
that's the thing that I hate is I really want to be good at writing in third person because you can tell so much of a story. I feel like you can expand on characters a lot more
Hmm.
than just one person's viewpoint of
Yeah.
this is how they appeared to kind of. And a lot of the time when I'm writing, I'll think back to your readings of Stones to Abigail where you were like, how does oh God, I don't even remember the character's name.
James?
James, thank you.
It's
I
so
was like,
forgettable. There you go.
well, I know it's Arthur in the other one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I would think back to where you would be like, how does James know how they're feeling? Because he doesn't, because this is a first person narrative,
Right.
and he doesn't know how they're feeling. So stop telling me what they're feeling. And I
Yeah.
think back to that all the time, and I'm like, no, no, don't say that, because
Yeah.
you can't. You gotta again show don't tell. You know.
Yeah. But like Sloth said, like he said narrative first person, most everything is third person, but oh, he calls it narrative third person when everything's third person but includes inner monologues. And I like that. I
Mm,
like I like
like
that
that.
first person does give you that theme where you do see all the inner thoughts of this one character, because if you make that character interesting enough, then
Hmm.
and like, obviously need some flaws there too. Like that's why people don't like Mary Sue's, because they are so perfect. Like nobody liked fucking Bella fucking Swan, because her character flaw was that she's clumsy.
Clumsy.
That's not a flaw. Like you need flaws. Like we're all flawed people. So it would be it's this is funny because James and Arthur had so many flaws, but like we're telling
But they never
them
acknowledged them.
exactly, just never even acknowledged it. Um, third person omniscient is a thing. Is that a thing? I
Yeah,
honest
yeah, that's
is
that's the
it?
thing.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
like that's like who. everything is being told, everything is known.
Mm.
Um, but I find that like I have trouble with making my characters perfect because I base them a lot of the time, like I said, off people that I know in real life, and so
Right.
I try to put their personalities onto paper, and then I realize that they're not like fully developed characters, so I have to be like, give them flaws,
Yeah.
make them insecure,
Yeah. But that can be
make
fun
them
to, like, you know, kind of
give them
fuck with your
issues.
characters.
Yeah.
You got issues, girl.
It's kind of demented, but it's healthy.
Well, like I remember just seeing, like, you know, Tumblr posts like, oh, I like, you know, fucking with my characters and just like making them feel bad. Like, it's fun to do. Like, I don't know. I guess it's more like, you know, a little bit of sadism or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an exercise.
yeah, exactly. Ayek and Shelby are talking about anti-sues. What is an anti-sue? Like a Mary Sue and
That's
then
a
an
good question.
anti-sue? Like
I would
anti.
assume that it's just the opposite of a Mary Sue, where everything's like too much.
Too much pain and angst coming. So is Gerg an anti-Sue? Gerg's characters were both a Mary and an anti-Sue at the same time. Oh
He
man,
broke boundaries.
he broke all sorts of he. I think he qualifies for like the worst book ever written. Him and Trisha are like this, you know. Like I was in a live stream the other day with this guy Failure Accomplished, and we were talking about Gerg and Trisha's books, and I was like, in Trisha's book, she she had a character that her main character got engaged to and had not a single piece of dialogue. None. Like the guy didn't talk at all. Like, what the fuck? How do you do that? I don't understand. I don't
He's
know.
just an object.
Yeah.
He's a piece of furniture. He's not a character.
Oh, that's like what Daddy O5 is doing to his children, just making them little props. Oh, it's terrible. But also I wanted to ask, like, I write in past tense a lot. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more people writing in present tense. Like Trisha's book was in present tense, which
hmm I
was
find that it depends on genre a lot.
mm,
All of my books and my projects are past tense because, I just it's like this little hole. I have this little writing hole. It's my creative hole that I kind of climb into, where I'm like, I'm going to write in first person. I'm going to write in past tense. I'm going to write as this specific character, and I'm not changing anything.
right.
I'm trying to slowly come out of that hole. It's kind of a journey to, write something in third person, even though it makes me super uncomfortable and I feel like I'm creating a monstrosity all the time. Or
Yeah.
write as, different characters, and try to give some variety in there, because you don't want to create the same thing 18 times.
Yeah, yeah, and like you can avoid stagnation in that
Exactly.
sense, you know, because sometimes I write when my when I'm in an altered state of mind, and so the tenses kind of just jump from like past to present and like to future
Yeah.
sometimes, you know. But Sloth said that present tense is great for building suspense, which I agree. Especially like I think it would be fun to write like a horror story in present tense because like you're experiencing everything the same time the
Yeah,
character is.
as it's happening real
Yeah, yeah,
time.
definitely. That's a smart move. Wait, is Trisha's name still BLND doll? Like hasn't like why
Oh
doesn't
God,
she...
I don't know. I only have seen her videos, like, not willingly.
Oh God.
But well, that's a lie. I think I watched one of her uh oh God, what are they called? I used to watch these all the time. The ones where they eat.
Oh, mukbangs.
Yes, thank you, mukbangs. I've
Yeah.
watched a couple of her mukbangs just
Yeah.
because I went through a phase where I was like, this is kind of cool, But
Those help
and
me
then I
with
was
my
like, no,
diet. I'm serious. Like those help
yeah,
me
they
not
they
eat.
really do.
But like I would think that Trisha would like change from that original, like, you know, she would just change her YouTube channel name to just Trisha Paytas at this point, you know.
Yeah,
But like it's weird that it's still that blonde sun doll for MJ or whatever the fuck they're saying it in the chat. But it's just
yeah, I know.
It's so odd, but like it sucks because like I like Trisha. Like I want to be her friend. Like I want to
She
like
seems really cool.
yeah, she really does. Like she seems like a whirlwind of crazy, but who isn't? You know? But like
Yeah.
I also just want to like tell her like things are going to be okay for you. Like stop trying so hard to be you. You are you.
Hmm.
Like don't try so hard to be you, you know? Like that's kind of it's like
Yeah.
you just come off as like an exaggerated version of yourself all the time. Like just be real, man. Like I don't know. I don't know, but apparently, okay. So she apparently she has another channel with her real name. Okay, well, good for Trisha. She still can't write though. I don't know. I'll give her another chance. But did you ever?
If she ever writes a second book,
Well, she's
how
written
many?
a lot of books actually, but like five of them are just like slop. Five of them are just like here's my life. This is my life. This was my life
Yeah.
as a YouTuber. You know, she did like the
Yeah.
stripper diaries, something like I don't know. Yeah, but
I find that it's like a little bit ridiculous that so many YouTubers are writing books these
yeah,
days.
it
Like
is.
I understand that like some of them like who've had experiences with you know serious issues how they would want to share stories to help other
Right.
people, but a lot of them just seem to be we're changing subjects, but a lot of them seem to be cashing in on just I'm a YouTuber and I have a manager, a good manager, so I'm gonna write a book. Because you go into the biography section at like bookstores and it's just YouTuber, 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 and it's like
Seriously, there's like YouTuber sections
no, I
in
mean like no, I mean like you go
oh
into the biography section and you just see YouTube faces all over the wall,
oh
and
my heart
there
like
because they've
exploded for
just
a second.
no, there is no YouTuber section at Barnes and Noble,
God, could
not
you
yet.
imagine? Not yet, right? Jesus Christ. Ooh, God. But yeah, no, I
It's
mean,
gonna
like, I,
it's gonna
I,
happen. You'll be displayed on the front.
oh, thank you. From your mouth to God's ears is what I say all the time. But I mean, exactly. Like Ilana in the chat says, with self-publishing, anyone can call themselves a writer or an author. You know, like, and that, like, I'm fine with self-publishing. You know, I think that that is good, especially like, you know, why not get your work out there? You know, and why not try to cash in a little bit if you want to. But I'm also like at the same time like, you know, just don't publish a first draft. Just don't do it. You know, just
With double spaces and no punctuation and do anything John's done, bro.
yeah, exactly. Like give books the respect that they deserve. You know, like give the medium and the genre give it the respect it deserves. Don't fucking just think you're a writer, Greg, because you shit out a book. You know.
Sure. I found that because when I updated my laptop, I had to get a new version of Word because my 2007 version that I've been using since 2007 wouldn't install on my new laptop, and I spell check my projects and my books like every 5 minutes,
Mm.
just just in case.
Yeah.
And I found that when I spell checked it on the like newest version of Word that's available, it was finding errors that I didn't even know computers could find.
Really? Like
And
what?
it was really interesting. Like it was finding spacing errors and it was finding punctuation errors and it was finding errors in words that that it hadn't been previously recognizing, and it might have
Oh
just been
wow.
because I was using a 2007 version, and so they've added new technology since then. But it was a very strange kind of shock to my system because it was like detecting all these other errors in this something that I'd been checking since like 2012,
Yeah.
and there were all these errors that I'd never seen, and I was like, wow, thank God that that I have like some sort of editing going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
They
if I had
have
sent that
sorry, go
into
ahead.
somebody, no, it's
Oh.
fine. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, 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 not a problem.
Because if I had sent that into somebody, that would have looked awful. You gotta edit.
Yeah,
Edit
exactly.
is my main word of advice. Is just
Hmm.
edit. cut
Get
and edit.
someone, get a fresh pair of eyes on that, you know. Like I've been bringing up Fox and Friends a lot lately, but it's all I know. Like, but we like I kind of at some point, like they let me go into the control room a couple times, like when it was uh quiet. They'd let me go. They let anybody who wanted to. They would let people go in the control room, and then you could copy edit people's scripts. So it was like I didn't make drastic changes, and like I really tried the oh, hello from Russia, thanks for joining. I really tried hard not to, when you do, I guess, copy edit someone's stuff, you have to try your damnedest not to like knock out their voice, you know? And
Mm,
so there was a lot of times where I felt that like when I saw a producer copy edit my work, that they just took away my voice. Like I had like a specific voice. I had it written, I had the video lined up to that, and then they were like, no, I
yeah.
want it like this. But I'm like, fuck you, like I would get really upset when that would happen, because like, I'm sorry, but like, like it's not, you didn't write the script, you didn't do, um, so I'm
I have a
wondering,
fear
like,
of that.
yeah, like I'm wondering, like, when you do get somebody to finally like copy edit your story, like how much are they going to change, or like how much are they going to tell you to change, because like it's not what they would do, and that's
Yeah, I worry about
worrisome.
that all the time about like how much of a say I'll be able to have if I ever decide to go public with, what I've written. And I'm sure you do the same thing all the time
Yeah.
because um it's a legitimate fear to not have a say, because I mean, the whole point of writing is to say something, and
Hmm.
if your voice is getting taken away, then you're just kind of a shell of your former self.
Yeah, I
and you're
know.
and you're and you're not really saying what you came here to say.
Yeah. Like, and I do wonder, I wonder how much, how much like power the author has at that point. And it's an interesting thing to, like, I guess it's just something you research and you talk to other people who have been published, like not self-published, because self-published obviously, like, you know like, for me personally, like, I I would feel more comfortable like self-publishing like a few stories here and there, like maybe a novella too, um, depending on when that happens. But I would want somebody else to read it first, like
Yeah,
at least somebody, like two other people read it, tell me, does it make sense? Like, where would you change? But like I just hope that like these bigger publishing companies or whatever, like I just hope that they're not gonna, like, they don't change
shred
things
you down.
around. Yeah, exactly. Well, look who's coming over to say hi. She's got her nice new
Oh,
she's got her
oh my
nice
God.
oh, she wants to say hello. Come here. Come here, Mrs. Because when we chatted, I was in Jersey.
She was gone.
Yeah, I was in Jersey,
She
but
wasn't there.
look what Ayek bought for her. She bought her this beautiful little collar.
Is it the collar? I saw the
Yeah.
video on the Discord where
Oh
you had the
yeah.
laser lights going and she was wearing the
Oh.
collar. Oh, she looks so
She
cute.
looks so
Oh,
it's a perfect color for her. She's tried to take it off a little bit, but like I think she'll be okay. But I like it on her. I bought her a collar a long time ago, but she kept taking it off. So hopefully this one stays on. Cause
mm,
it's got a cute bow. It's got a bell. She looks so pretty, like the pink with the blue, the pink with the black and white on it. I didn't see a note for her. Sorry, I didn't see a note for Sadie in the box, but I'll check. I'll check again. So yeah, hopefully this stream, Yvonne says, like, you gotta bust her ass, and write some more. So hopefully, us stremming will inspire some of those
inspire.
writers, and myself too. Oh my god, like shit, like
Yeah, I know I did because we Skyped, and then we talked about writing for a solid hour, which is what we're
yeah,
doing now. And
hell
then
yeah,
I logged off and I went up front and I wrote like all night. Then I was like,
nice.
I'm making things again. And then I woke up the next morning and it was gone.
Oh, what
I
happened?
had No, not like the writing
Oh,
was gone.
oh,
My fuel and my inspiration was gone again, and I was like, oh, it was so nice while it lasted.
yeah. it like it comes in and out, you know. I like I said, like there's people who have like the compulsion, this compulsive need to write, but like for everybody else, like we all got things to do, and we all got you know life gets in the way, like life happens, and then but
I think everybody should try writing. I think everybody,
yeah,
no matter who they are, they have something to say and they have a story to tell. So
yeah.
I always say that if anyone's ever given the chance, that they should at least try to write, because I mean, you never know.
Exactly. And because it's not, I would never say like writing is easy, but but it also is, because once you get
Yeah.
into that like swing and that groove of it, like the words just kind of pour out. Like the other night when I busted out my 700 words, whoa, when I did that, I was just like, oh, it felt like the most natural thing in the entire world, it just
It's
it
so
felt
great when it just flows.
yeah, it felt so good just getting those words out. And my problem is I'm writing all these articles, and I have obligations to people to write these articles, but it's like I want to write my thing. Like this is taking up my time to write. Like it's really dumb to think that, but like that's kind of how I feel with it.
Yeah.
It's like
You
I'm
don't want to waste your time on something you're not passionate about.
exactly like so I try to when I write these articles, I try to make them like lighthearted and like happy or whatever. But like,
Throw a little bit of Gines in there.
yeah, just a little bit. Like I've had to write, stories about like Trump or like Megyn Kelly and things like that, and like, like it's like I feel like I'm expected to write in a certain way about like, can you believe Trump? But like, it's like, no, I just fucking like whatever. I'm just gonna be as
Just write what you
objective.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Just being objective and but that's a whole different issue. Like some people like it just depends on like taking from like the newsroom or whatever. Like some people prefer national news and some people prefer like local news. And so I can see people like preferring to write like investigative articles, and then like there's other people that just want to write think pieces.
Hmm.
And I like think pieces. I think that those are my favorite to write.
I'm always down to read a good think piece.
Yeah. Except ones that like accuse everybody else of like
Yeah.
horribleness. But
Damnation.
yeah, everybody's just like those like HuffPo is like the worst for that. They just like hate everybody and like but even like I remember there was one article, I can't exactly remember what it was about, but this guy was like complaining about something and said something about like white people again, and then like everyone was like, dude, just stop. Like, come on, what are you talking about? Like people just calling him out, like, well, just stop. It's over. It's over, but it is what it is. But it's hard to find time when you have work and even worse school. Yeah, I can imagine like
Yeah.
being in school right now and like having to
Ugh.
write things that like you don't want to write about. Like that was always my problem. That's what I was always like, oh, I'm not a writer. I don't like writing. But you're writing
Yeah.
term papers in college. It's a whole different story there.
Because you spend all day writing what you don't want to write, and then you once you get free time, you don't want to write what you want to write.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think someone told me one time that like when Anthony Bourdain was writing he was writing a book, and he said that like he would wake up early every morning and write before he had to do anything. So he would write just a little bit every morning. So it was like you start the day by doing something that you really want to do.
That's nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It sounds like it sounds good, and it sounds like, oh yeah, that's something that I would want to do. Sadie. Sorry, she's just in the box right now. There's like plastic around. Come on. Take this big butt out of there. It sounds like it would be a good tactic. It's just a matter of like when am I gonna stop being a lazy ass and like wake up with my alarm? you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a
I
pain
think
in
just
the ass.
finding free time to do it is hard, but any writing time is writing improved.
Yep, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Anything you can get out, it's is going to help you in the long
Hmm.
run, which is
Yeah.
why I try to write every day because I feel like if I'm doing anything, I'm bettering myself.
Hell yeah, exactly. Like it's just you need to not. Come on, get your butt out of there. All right. What was there is a Shelby in the chat said that a deleted HuffPost piece called "Trump supporters deserve to die more than I do." Wonder why that was deleted. Come on now, like why would you ever think that that's a good thing to like I feel so conflicted sometimes. Like there's this magazine online. It's called like Affinity Magazine, right? And it's
Mhm.
like teens writing. It's like teenagers writing articles and writing think pieces and writing investigative stories. But they're so like, oh, white people are the worst. Like they're so far that side that it's obnoxious. But I also am like, good for you for writing, you know? Like I want to be like, yes, I'm glad that you're doing something, you know? But
Get
like
your voice out there, just don't do it like that.
that's kind of like what I want to say. It's just like it's like no, it's so good that like you know as a teen you're consistently writing and like you're only gonna get better like the more you do it, you know? Because writing's one of those things that like you have to do it all the time or else you're never gonna get any better. So, but it's also like it's also like dudes like you know the world is not as bad as it seems on the internet. So like calm down, you know. Like the
I know
internet.
Teen Vogue said some stuff a while ago.
Oh yeah, Teen Vogue.
I think.
No, like people are like hailing Teen Vogue as like the new investigative journal because journalism scoop because like that woman Lauren Duca like wrote a piece about Trump that everyone thought was really profound or something, and then oh well, Teen Vogue is the new Bible, you know. No, I'm talking about Affinity magazine, Yvonne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've read from Affinity before, or I've seen it on Facebook, or
Hmm. I've seen.
people share it a lot.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter because I think it's good. It's like run by teens, for teens, or whatever. I think that's
Hmm.
I think that's good. I think that that's important. But I also want to tell these kids to fucking go outside, get off the internet. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like go. You're not in the real world yet. You know, chill. That's maybe me being a dick, but like whatever. It is what it is. Propaganda writing. Oh my gosh, yeah. Ugh. It'd be kind of fun to like write what people think. Everybody thinks everything's propaganda though. You know,
Yeah,
every bit of fake news is propaganda. You know, but it is what it is. Teen oh Teen Ink or Teen Link. It's another
I
teen
think it's
publication.
Teen, Teen Ink, Teen
Teen
Link. I
Ink,
can't tell.
Teen Link. Oh, Firefox is here. What's up, Firefox? How you doing? Yeah, Teen Vogue is very political these days. But like they're writing for teens, I guess, but they're like older women writing. It's just odd. I mean,
Yeah,
that just weirds me out a little bit. I don't know.
fashionistic journalism.
Yeah, I like that. That makes
That's
more
what.
sense. It is what it is. Like, you know, I guess just because I've been in the news for so long, like it gets grating a little bit to see like all these like oh we're not the mainstream and it's like yeah but you kind of are aren't you. Like you're
Hmm.
kind of
I'm
acting.
not conformist. Well, yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, like Radio Cat said too many non-issues being invented, but I was saying today in my earlier stream that like I think that this outrage culture that does happen, it's dying down a little bit or it's like not as vocal. Like
Hmm.
people get outraged, but then they'll write about it and then they'll say all these things and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, I totally agree." But then like they forget about it like quicker, kind of.
Yeah, it
Like
just kind of
yeah.
passes.
Exactly, exactly. So we're stretching. We're a couple minutes left here. That went by quick, huh?
Yeah, it did.
No, so
Is it
uh,
always that quick?
I mean, I guess so. But um, yeah, I just wanted to like make mention like we're winding down here, folks. But Um, oh, well, there you go. um, did you have a favorite English teacher? Because, like, I don't know.
Ooh. I had a lot of English teachers that I hated. I
Yeah.
think I had more that I hated than that I liked because
Oh.
they were just they were just like unholy messes that should not have been teaching children
Yeah. Oh
or
God.
young adults, and it was yeah, I had more teachers that I like was like they need to be fired
Mm.
than teachers where I was like, oh, but I had a pretty good English teacher early on in middle school.
Mhm.
Uh, and then my high school English teacher was a different story.
Oh. Yeah. My high school English teacher, she was also like our softball coach, so it was just like weird seeing her like play softball and stuff. But like, um,
Yeah,
oh yeah, my English teacher kind of made Moby Dick not boring too. My AP English teacher in senior year, he was awesome. Or was it senior year? Or was that junior year? I can't, or sophomore year. I don't fucking remember. But like, no, that was definitely senior year. Like it depends. Like I had that one guy was he was a super cool guy. Um,
hmm,
and then this other lady, she was just really passionate about like books and stuff, and like that rubs off. Like you can tell when teachers
yeah.
like care and when they just don't give a shit. But like,
I think I think that was what it was because I just seemed to have a lot of teachers that didn't care, and
yeah,
they were just kind of lazily teaching, and I was like, "Tell me more," and they'd be like,
yeah, yeah, and that's like, like
and I hate that.
yeah, and like I know that teaching is like not the easiest profession by any stretch of the
Yeah.
imagination. Like
Oh, yeah.
you get paid shit, you know, like you're not compensated well, and like you have like children's futures in your hands, you know, like you want like it's a lot of responsibility and a lot of power, but at the same time, like, you know, you kind of do you not know what you signed up for? Like I just don't know, you
Gotta
know.
know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I've had lots of great teachers. A lot of my teachers that I loved were really early on in school, which I think is probably better
Hmm.
that I had, such great teachers when I was younger and very impressionable
Right.
than as opposed to later on where I was opinionated and I could be like, that person does not know what they're talking about."
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I was
so shout out
always
to all my good teachers that I had in elementary school
aw.
that
Yeah,
gave me good morals and good
mm-hmm.
good knowledge.
That's true. Like I had like all my best teacher was like my fourth grade teacher. She just made learn like in fourth grade we made a giant cake of New Jersey. Like we each had to come in and like we had to like bake a lemon cake, right? And we all had and then we would like cut out the counties and we like piece together this giant New Jersey cake and like, you know, for the like the pine barrens were like sticks and then like the shore was like blue frosting like it was really really cool. We learned all about New Jersey that way. And
It
one
is
quick
like that.
like one quick little like story here, like so we had a test on the counties of New Jersey and there's 21 and we had to name them, and my teacher gave us an incentive. She's like, the first person to finish it and get it all correct will get a prize. So I did it first. I finished it first. And I handed it in. Like it was me and this guy. We like ran. I handed it in, but I didn't get the prize because when I wrote Bergen, I didn't close the N, so it looked like an R. And so
Oh, when it
she's
looked like
like,
burger.
it looked like burger. She's like, you spelled it wrong. And I was like, you know what I meant. And so like ever since then, my ends are like all the way down. I made sure like
You
nope,
learned your lesson.
I sure as shit did. But like that's the kind of teacher that like, you know, like at the time I was devastated, but like, you know, that's a good teacher right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was crazy. But yeah, as long as they're funny and like I don't know, I think it'd be fun to be a teacher, but
Oh God.
I don't know how to do it.
Miss Gines.
Like, come on, students, we're gonna come around
Come
Miss
on,
Giants.
bitches.
Yeah. Call them all bitches. Be like, don't tell anybody.
That's on
Oh
the
man.
down low.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess we'll come to a close here. But thank you so much. We had this is a wonderful conversation,
It
Tyler.
was.
Thank
It was
you.
great. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on here.
Of course, and just thank you for your Patreon support. I really really appreciate it.
No
And
problem.
like I have everybody over there. I have above me or above you.
Yeah, above me.
Everybody. Yeah, above you. Just everybody. Everybody you know scrolling, but you know, maybe starting next month I think it would be fun to like have a day to like, you know, for subs too to come on, just those, because because all the rewards this month were like all Patreon peeps and stuff, so obviously we'll do this again next month.
Hmm.
But you know, like I'm looking to you know, twist and turn and change things around all the time. So, you
Yeah,
know,
always changing, always evolving.
absolutely. This was great. This was a huge success, I think.
It
So,
was.
yeah, so this is a sorry, Anime Heat just hopped in and we're about to bounce. Sorry about that. But I appreciate you coming on, Tyler, and again, I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you everybody in the chat for being awesome, and this was a good writing discussion. Keep on writing and
Always right.
always right. What any final thoughts?
That was my final thought. Just keep writing, keep pushing, keep
Okay,
on, keep grinding.
exactly. All right, so if you could just stay on the Skype call, I will go ahead and end everything. You know, but thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye.